Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we're going to be dropping in to some tension hotspots, opening up the body and the mind. Our target areas of focus are going to be the head, the neck, the shoulders, the back, the spine. We're even getting into the hips, the hamstrings, and even the feet are getting a bit of work today. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest if you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to start today's class in a seated, elevated position. So if you do have a block or perhaps a scatter cushion that you could use to elevate the body, please bring it closer. You're going to place it down on the mat and you're going to take a seat on your prop. Make sure that you're sitting comfortably with both bum bones equally weighted into the mat. You're going to tuck into easy sit. Let's begin with the right leg in front. You're going to wedge the block underneath you and you're going to tip the weight slightly forward so that your knees are resting comfortably into the mat. You're going to sit up nice and tall, grounding through both bum bones, giving me the longest spine that you can. And you're going to begin by nodding a lazy pattern through your head, dropping your chin towards your chest, and then looking up towards the sky as if you were tracing a yes pattern with the head. Just find a soft nod of your own, maybe pausing with your chin tucked towards the chest, and then gently reaching for the sky with the tip of your chin, trying not to compress the back of your neck, just working mindfully, maybe closing the eyes. Maybe you'd like to take your focus in. Then bring your chin line to neutral and think of tracing a no pattern, looking over one shoulder, bringing the chin line back to neutral, and then peeking over the other shoulder. Just gently oscillating the head side to side. Let's do one more to each side. Bring your chin line back to neutral, and on the exhale, nod your chin towards your chest. Then with the tip of your chin, start tracing half a circular pattern towards your left shoulder, and then in one sweeping motion all the way towards your right shoulder. You're going to keep that chin drop, and you're going to keep tracing side to side. Inhale as you come through the center line, and then exhale as you take it to one shoulder. You're going to bleed your way back into a neutral chin line. And with the tip of your nose, you're going to trace a tiny little circle, and you're going to keep moving in the same direction. Pretend that you're tracing maybe the circumference of a marble with the tip of your nose. Trace a few circles in one direction, and then maybe change it up and trace that teeny tiny circle in the opposite direction. Come to stillness with the head beautifully balanced in neutral, and shrug one shoulder towards your ear, then drop it down. Alternate side to side, keep lifting up one shoulder and then exhaling as you drop away. Then think of shrugging both shoulders simultaneously towards the ears on the inhale, and on the exhale, drop away. Maybe starting to play with your breath pattern and giving me a nice audible sound as you drop the shoulders away from the ears. Find your way to neutral, lengthen through the spine as best you can, and then you're going to interlace the hands, making a little basket, and you're going to use your two thumb tips to pull gently up alongside the head. You're going to place that basket of support behind your head, using the thumbs to pull up the skin along the neck. You're going to pull the whole back, all the skin on the back of your neck up towards the sky as you point your two elbow points as high as you can towards the ceiling. looking for some additional length in the neck and the spine. Keeping that sense of length, you're going to take a big breath in, and on an exhale, you're going to twist slowly off center to one side. Pause, reaching as long as you can through your elbow points, gently tugging the skin along the back of your neck up towards the sky. Inhale to come back to center. And then on a long, lazy exhale, take your twist to the other side. Find your way gently back to center. Uninterlace the hands from behind your head and float the arms behind you, palms looking in. Either stay here, just reaching long through your fingertips, or try to make a fist with the hands behind the back by bringing the two palms together. Think of floating the two shoulder blades as close together along the midline of the body, and maybe try to reach through your knuckle points as if you were trying to tap the wall behind you. Take a few generous breaths here, breathing as deeply as you can into the front and the sides of your ribs. And then think of softening at the elbows and trying to tuck your fisted hands alongside you on the left side of your waist. Maybe looking over that shoulder towards the back edge of your mat. Inhale, bring your chin line back to neutral, float the hands behind you. Keep that fist, keep reaching long through your knuckle points. Try to tap the wall behind you. Breathe as deeply as you can into the front and the sides of your ribs. And soften through the elbows. Bring that little fist alongside your body on the right side of your waist and maybe peek over the right shoulder, keeping that chin line nice and neutral. Reach those fisted hands long behind you. Think of squeezing the two shoulder blades closer together along the midline of the body. Then softly uninterlace your hands and find your way into a modified half Lord of the Fishes. Take your front leg and step it over the knee of the other leg. If you need to, readjust your block so that you're comfortably sitting on the block. You're going to hug towards your top leg, maybe hooking your elbow on the outside of the knee and reaching along through your fingertips. Then maybe just using the other hand to push softly off your block or the floor and just take a soft spinal twist here, trying to ground through all 5 toes of your front leg. Pause here for a few generous breaths. Look for as much length in the spine as you can comfortably manage and peep over your back shoulder. Then keeping the cross of your legs, you're going to untwist your trunk. You're going to float the left arm up to the sky, bend at the elbow, place the hand palm down between the two shoulders. Maybe you'd like to stay here, just using your right hand to tug the elbow closer towards the midline of the body. Or maybe you'd like to come into a little cow face stretch by bringing the right arm behind you. Try to grip the two arms behind your back. One arm is pulling up, the other arm is pulling down. And if those two hands don't quite meet, you could always use a strap or a towel to make that connection. Once you've found your position, begin to play with your neck. Trace a few lazy yeses with your chin. And you can make the movement as small or as big as your neck wants to play. And then maybe trace a few lazy no's. You determine the speed and the range of that motion. So move at a pace that's comfortable for you. Then ease your way gently back to neutral. You're going to unbind those hands from behind your back and you're going to reach for the front leg. Reach for the undercarriage of the foot if you can, with one or with both hands. And you're going to just gently rock that limb back and forth, trying to get the knee to relax in towards your armpit as you play with that movement. Keep belly to spine, sit up nice and tall on your elevated prop. Then maybe tuck that knee in towards your armpit and hold your seated half a happy baby, Ardha Ananda Balasana. Stay here or begin morphing into Rock the Baby Hindulasana. Hold on to your foot with one hand and brace the knee with the other arm as you gently rock back and forth. Try to get a little bit more opening into the groin and the hip area. If this feels good, maybe you could take the foot and place it into the crook of your arm, maybe holding onto the shin and the knee, or maybe you'd like to interlace and make a little basket. I'm going to just support the shin and the knee today and just give myself a little rock here. Try to look for those areas of tightness and then drop into them carefully, opening up gently. Then reach for the undercarriage of your foot. So reach with the right hand for the undercarriage of the right foot. Place your left hand either on the floor or on your prop, and you're going to extend that right leg. If you can't hold on to the foot and extend, you could maybe use a belt or a strap to hold on to the foot. And you could either give me a big toe lock or hold on to all 5 toes, or maybe you'd like to wrap around the ball of the foot, whichever feels comfortable for you. And you're going to take a modified Crouchasana. Just take a nice little stretch here. Give yourself a couple of gentle breaths here. Try to forge the longest spine that you can. And then bend that extended leg and plant your foot firmly on the mat. Use your right palm to push the knee away, drop down through the left shoulder, and just take a little twist and stretch here. Then place your right hand on your hip and begin tapping the right knee to the floor and back to its start position. So almost think of half a little butterfly wing gently flapping up and down. Let's do 2 more. Then extend the right leg away from you. We're coming into a half a straddle position. Just make sure that that stabilizing leg is tucked comfortably underneath you. Start by placing your right hand on the top of your thigh. Then maybe brush your hand down the thigh, reaching as far as you can. Maybe this means resting on the thigh or on the shin bone, and you're happy to hang here. If you've got more range of motion, perhaps aim for your toe, maybe giving me a big toe lock or curling around to reach for the undercarriage of your foot. And then arc and frame with the other arm, reach long through your fingertips and hold the stretch here, wherever you decide to play. Try to breathe as deeply as you can into the left side of your ribs. Keep your belly button softly pulled into center. Reach nice and long through those fingertips. Hold the stretch. From here, we're going to find our way into a deep squat line, and we're going to use our prop to make a little seat. Gently peel back towards the center line. Bend your extended leg. Bend the other leg. Push off the floor and then flip your block onto its side so that you can find a comfortable high seat on your block. So nice modified squat line. You're going to use your elbow points to push open the knees, and then you're going to bring all 10 fingers together so that they meet their respective partners. You're going to push off your fingertips, and you're going to use your elbow points to pull those knees open. Hold. Give yourself a couple of soft breaths here. Then extend your right arm and push with your elbow to open up that knee, and then use your left palm to pull the opposite knee open, maybe looking over that left shoulder to the wall behind you. Find your way back to center. All 10 fingers pushing against their respective partners. And then take it to the other side. So extend the left arm, push actively with the back of your elbow and your arm against the inseam of that leg. And use your right palm to maybe coax the right knee to open a little bit more. Come back to the center line. Use those fingertips, find their partners, push gently open. You're going to readjust your block from here and you're going to come back to your original seat. So flipping rather the block back down. Tuck yourself back into your easy sit. This time, left leg in front of right. You're going to tilt the hips to the 6 o'clock position so the knees start rolling forward and you're going to wedge that block comfortably underneath your bottom. Wiggle around till you feel nice and comfortable in your seat. Find the longest spine that you can and drop your hands to the top of your thighs as you begin tracing that lazy yes pattern through your neck. Nice inhale as you look up and a nice gentle exhale as you look down. You find a gentle rhythm that works for you. Keep those shoulders and the collars nice and soft as you play. Bring your chin line back to neutral and begin tracing a lazy no pattern with your chin, peeping over one shoulder on the exhale. Inhale to transition and then exhale as you peep over the other side. Keep the breathing soft and relaxed. Keep your spine as long as you can. Ease your chin line back to neutral. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, nod your chin towards your chest. And then with the tip of your chin, begin to trace towards one shoulder and then in one sweeping half circular motion towards the other shoulder. And keep gently moving side to side, syncing your breath and your movement so that the whole body is beautifully connected. Body and breath. Find your way back to center with a neutral chin line. Then use the tip of your nose to begin tracing that teeny tiny circle around an imaginary marble. Give me a few lazy traces in one direction. Look for those areas of tightness and drop into them mindfully. And then change it up and maybe trace your circle in the opposite direction. Your eyes are maybe softly open, or maybe you'd like to close those eyes and take your focus inward. All right. Bring your chin line back to neutral. You're going to interlace those hands, invert them, and you're going to use your thumbs to brace the back of your neck and then gently think of tugging all the skin on the back of your neck up towards the ceiling, keeping those elbows reaching for the sky. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, twist softly off center to one side and pause. Keep looking for that length through the neck, through the spine, through the elbows. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to twist to the other side. Keep looking for length in the body. Inhale to come back to the center line. Uninterlace the hands. Float them behind you, palms looking in, staying here, or maybe trying to forge a fist by floating the two palms together as flush as you can, reaching long through your knuckle points as if you wanted to tap the wall behind you. Then think of softening at the elbows to tuck your fist onto the side of your waist. Let's bring it to the right side. Excuse me. And then exhale to peep over that shoulder, maybe towards the front edge of your mat. Keep your gaze softly there. Inhale, bring your chin line back to neutral. Extend those arms behind you. Keep the fisted position and keep reaching long through the points of your knuckles. Soften through the elbows. Tuck that fist on the left side of your waist. And maybe exhale to peek over that left shoulder towards the back edge of your mat. Keep looking for length in the spine. Come back to center. Reach long through those knuckles. Relax the arms, drop them to the top of your thighs, and start lifting up one shoulder at a time as if you were just gently saying hello to your ear on the one side and then dropping down. Give me a few singles, and then when you're ready, you can double up. Inhaling as you draw the shoulders up, and then exhaling as you drop down, maybe starting to play with that audible breath pattern. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll come into our half Lord of the Fishes from here. You're going to take your front leg and you're going to step it over your other knee. Readjust the block, so retuck it so that you're sitting comfortably, all 5 toes grounded into the mat. You're going to twist and rotate towards your lead leg. You're going to try to hook your elbow on the outside of that knee, maybe reaching long through your fingertips, and then maybe supporting your frame by bracing off the fingertips of your stabilizing hand, maybe pushing off your block. Give yourself a couple of generous breaths here in Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes. Then think of gently untwisting your trunk. Keep the cross of your legs. Float the right arm up to the sky. Bend at the elbow and place the hand palm down between the 2 shoulder blades. Maybe floating the left arm up and reaching for that right elbow, tucking it in closer towards the midline, staying here. Or maybe you'd like to take an underhand grip. See if you can pull the top fingertips you're pulling up towards the sky, and the fingertips of the bottom hand are tugging down towards the mat. So there is a little bit of opposition in this stretch. Keep giving me the tallest spine that you can, and then maybe start tracing that lazy yes pattern through the chin. And then maybe a couple of lazy no's. Just gently working into those tension hot spots, dropping in, trying to release them. Unbind your hands. Reach for the foot of the front leg, either with one hand or 2 hands. And you're going to begin gently rocking that bent limb back and forth, just trying to get the hips and the pelvis to start warming up, dropping into those little tension hot spots. Maybe holding here for a few seconds. Think knee to armpit. Keep belly to spine as you play. And then maybe begin to find your rock the baby, maybe holding onto the foot with one hand, bracing the knee with the other hand, gently rocking your frame. If the hips are happy here and the groin feels good, maybe you can bring the foot into the crook of your hand, maybe just gently supporting the weight of your shin and your knee. Maybe you'd like to interlace and hold tighter towards the body. Just see where your body wants to be today and move accordingly. From here, we're going to find our way into Heron. You're going to grab left hand to left foot. So maybe you're giving me a big toe lock. Maybe you're reaching for all 5 toes. Maybe you're wrapping around the ball of the foot. You're going to extend the leg using the right fingertips to maybe brace on the floor or on the block. And you're just going to take a little stretch here. Keep belly to spine. Try to forge a long line from your tailbone all the way through the nape of the neck towards the crown of your head. Then bend your extended leg and place the foot on the floor. So you're grounding through the whole foot. Use the palm of your left hand to just gently push the knee away and just take a little stretch here. Maybe you've dropped down through the right arm and you're looking over that right shoulder to the floor behind you. Then peel back to center, place the left fingertips on your hip, drop the left knee to the floor and back up to its start position and start working in a soft little butterfly flapping motion. do 2 more, and then we'll set up our half a straddle. Ardha Upavistha Konasana. You're going to extend that left leg away, readjust yourself on the block so that you feel comfortable and you're not sliding off. Give me an active foot. So brace actively into that heel. Maybe start with your palms softly on the top of your thigh. Brush your hand down the leg, reaching as far as you can. Maybe you'd like to just hang here. Maybe you'd like to arc and frame. Maybe your range of motion allows you to reach for the toe, or maybe even the undercarriage of the foot. Find what works for you, and then just hold. Try to breathe as deeply as you can into the right side of your ribs. Keep belly to spine. Give me a few generous breaths here. And then we'll ease our way from here back into that supported deep squat line, Malasana. So when you're ready, bleed back up towards the center line, bending your legs one at a time. Push off the mat, readjust your block. So it's now sitting on its edge. You're going to use your elbow points to push your knees open, and then bring your fingertips towards the center line so they're meeting their respective partners. Push off your fingertips, push off your elbow points to open up gently. Then maybe extend the left arm, push with the back of your hand, use your right palm to gently push the knee open, hold the stretch. Ease your way back to center, use your elbows, use your fingertips. Extend the right arm, push with the back of your arm, open up that limb, and use your left palm to open up the left knee. Give yourself a few more breaths here. Then ease your way back to center and give yourself one last little hip opening push. From here, we're going to come into a wide standing straddle using the length of our mat, and we're going to place the prop, our little seat, one side. So when you're ready, you're going to drop your fingertips to the mat. You're going to lift your bum up off your seat. Just place the block one side in case you need it again. And start opening up your legs into a wide standing straddle. Square up the feet so that all 10 toes are looking in the same orientation as your face. You've got the weight wrapping around from the big toe through the little toe, through the outer quadrant of the leg, all the way to the heel. Either stay here with both sets of hands on the mat. If your hands don't reach the mat, you could always use your trusty block and just find a lean-in position that works for you. If the hips are nice and open and you can come a little bit lower to the floor, maybe you can brush your hands down the thigh and reach with both sets of hands for the outer quadrant of your feet. Drop your crown nice and heavy to the floor. If your crown does touch the floor, try not to lean any weight into it. And then reach with both hands for the outer quadrant of the right foot if you can, or maybe a little bit higher up along the chain of the leg if the outer quadrant of the foot is not happening for you. And then begin to dynamically bend and extend the right knee, as if you were trying to come into a side lunge. Bend the right knee, maybe placing both sets of hands on the floor. Maybe you'd like to bringing yourself in a little bit tighter, maybe even bringing the right heel off the floor and come into a modified Skandasana, pushing off your fingertips and just pausing here. Give yourself a couple of breaths. Then ease your way back to the center line, either fingertips on the floor or folding through that line, wrapping around the outer quadrant of both feet, and allowing your head to just hang heavy towards the floor like a little bell. Then maybe starting to move towards the left and grabbing for the outer quadrant of your left foot with both hands. Take a moment here to enjoy the stretch. And then when you're ready, begin dynamically bending and extending the left knee as if you wanted to prepare for a side lunge. Then hold the knee bent, holding onto the outer quadrant of the foot, or maybe begin to place your hands on the floor if you prefer. You can bring the legs in tighter if you need to. Then start dropping your bum down, maybe float the heel of the left foot off the floor and come into a modified Skandasana with your fingertips just softly pushing off the floor. Hold. If you like to, you could even bring the toes of the extended leg off the mat. Maybe you'd like to stretch up towards the sky. Maybe you want to keep them grounded. So just see where your body wants to be. Play. All right. From here, we're going to change our orientation on the mat. Just come to one more prasarita. Open up those legs. Find your way towards the midline. Take a nice little stretch here. Weight bearing equal on both feet, inner thighs working nice and hard. Then creep around towards the front of the mat and just sweep your back leg back and find your way to 4-point kneeling. Take your feet nice and wide on the outer quadrant of your mat and ease your way into a wide down dog by piking your bum up to the sky. Your feet are flush against the outer edge of the mat. You're piking your bum up as high as you can to the ceiling, and you're trying to drop down as best as you can through the heels of your feet. Then think of nodding a lazy yes pattern with your chin, holding the down dog frame steady as you release into the neck, keeping belly to spine. Come to stillness with the neck. Keep that wide foot position, dropping your knees as close towards the midline of the body as you can. Relax the feet and sit back into hero by trying to sit your bum cheeks between the 2 feet. If this is not happening for you, maybe open up the knees a little bit wider. Take that trusty block that we began with, wedge it underneath your bottom and use it as a seat to support your frame. The knees don't need to touch and they don't need to be flush against the midline. Remember, anatomically, we're all different, so just do what feels good for you. Give yourself a couple of breaths here, just finding your seat in Virasana Hero. Wiggling around until you're comfortable through the hips, maybe placing your hands gently on the top of your thighs and just giving yourself a couple of generous breaths here. Then bleed your way from here back into your wide-legged down dog. Your feet should still be nice and wide. So as you come to a 4-point kneeling-like position, your knees are closer and your feet are nice and wide. They should be in the correct position so that you could just tuck your toes under, float your bum up to the sky, and find your way back to your wide down dog. Once you've found the position, begin to trace a lazy no pattern with your chin. Keep belly to spine. Try to anchor down through the heels of both feet as best you can so that it feels like you're grounding through the whole foot. Ease your way back into hero so the knees coming closer towards the midline. Relax the feet. Maybe staying in the seat that you took in the first round, or maybe you'd like to give me a little L lean off the center line and maybe walk your hands back a little bit further away from you and just take a little stretcher. Trying to open up your chest towards the sky, maybe getting a nice little stretch into the lower belly area. Keep your chin line maybe in neutral so that you're not putting any tension on the back of your neck. When you're ready, you're going to find your way back into your wide down dog one last time. Find your way into a modified 4-point kneel. Feet are still nice and wide. Tuck your toes under. As you drop into the down dog frame, just make the whole crown of your head nice and heavy into the floor and focus on your feet. Lift your heels off the mat and then drop an anchor. Lift the heels off, drop an anchor. Just play with that movement. The whole time, the crown of your head is nice and heavy towards the floor, hanging like a little bell towards the floor. Keep belly to spine. We're going to come back into hero from here when you're ready. So think of dropping the knees in towards the center line, allowing the feet to softly splay out. Sit back, either just sitting up tall or repeating your L lean, or maybe inverting your hands, softening through the elbows and coming into a almost sphinx-like push off the elbows, maybe nodding your chin softly towards your chest and just chilling here for a few breaths. If the body is nice and open and you're not new to Virasana, you might want to come into a full recline position by walking your way onto the back, maybe dropping the arms open in a Shavasana-like position. Maybe you'd like to just hold on to the ankles. Do what feels good for you. And if coming into the full recline is not for you, then maybe just stopping on the elbows, pushing softly off your elbows and your forearms, keeping your chin line in neutral. Wherever you decide to play, breathe as deeply as you can into the front of your ribs. Keep your neckline in neutral. And then when you're ready, you're going to gently bleed your way back up. You're going to find your way into a 4-point kneeling frame, squaring up through the feet so that your legs are in parallel, feet stacking behind your knees. And we'll play in cat-cow. Inhale to give me a concave shape through the back, taking your chin and your bum bones to the ceiling. Exhale to round out your back and hollow out your belly. And then just give me a couple of oscillating frames between the two shapes. Maybe using a nice active breath pattern as you round out in cat. And then a soft, almost inaudible inhale as you come into the cow. Then find your way into a neutral tabletop line. Keep those legs soft and relaxed in parallel as you push back, bum to heel in a modified child, and just extend the arms softly on the mat in front of you, maybe tapping your forehead to the mat and taking a little bow here in Balasana. Then think of coming through your 4-point kneeling position, bumping the weight forward over your wrists, getting a little stretch into the lower belly. Strong through the shoulders, strong through the core, and then push back into child. So think bum to heels. Take a little bow. Let's add to that. The next time you inhale and come through your 4-point kneel, see if you can maybe lift the knees off the floor and push off the tops of your feet. Push actively off the tops of your feet, holding a modified up dog. Don't collapse. So you're pushing strongly off the hands, your shoulders are strong, your core is strong. Relax your knees, your shins and your feet, and then push back into your modified child. Thinking bum to heel. Maybe your forehead gently connects to the mat. Let's add again. Find your way through 4-point kneeling. So drag the weight forward over your wrists and pause here, taking a little stretch into the lower belly. Feel good? Bring the knees up off the floor and actively push into the tops of your feet, holding your modified up dog. Keep those feet as active as you can and give me a mini modified down dog by pushing off the tops of your feet and piking your bum up to the sky. Then softly find your way back to the shins, the knees, and push back into your modified child. Let's add one more piece to the puzzle. Come through your 4-point kneeling frame, dragging the weight forward over your wrists, giving me a modified kneeling up dog first. Then bring the knees off the floor and actively push off the tops of your feet, giving me an almost bow-like frame through the back. Keep pushing off the tops of your feet and see if you can think down dog. So really getting into the tops of those feet, dropping in there. Then as you relax the knees and the shins to the floor, you can keep the feet where they are. Come into a high kneeling frame. Come into a camel line, either fingertips up or fingertips down as you support your lower back. Think of keeping the hips softly stacked over your knees as you come into the frame. Taking a nice little camel stretch here. And then ease your way from here back into child. Arms are extended on the mat in front of you. We're going to bleed our way onto the belly from here. We're going to get there caterpillar style. So think of pushing off all 10 fingertips, taking your elbows wide and starting to drag your torso along the mat till you find your way gently onto the belly. Then bend at the elbows, stacking one palm on top of the other, and relax your forehead to the back of your hands. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, you're going to lift your legs off the mat, keeping your arms, your chest, and your head connected to the mat. Just going to float those legs off, pushing off your hip points and your lower belly, reaching long and soft through your toes. Then relax the legs down to the mat. Now keep your feet grounded and give me a chest lift. Starting to peel your chest, your arms, and your head off the mat, maybe stopping just before your bottom rib disconnects and holding the frame. Gently peel back down. Take a recovery breath or two. And then come into a full modified locust by executing the leg and the chest lift simultaneously so that you begin to make a bow-like frame through your body, floating your chest, your arms, and your legs off the mat. Peel softly back down to the mat. Open up your arms into a T-frame and rest on the right side of your head, just taking a couple of soft recovery breaths. You're melting your whole body into the mat. Find your way back into your stacked forearm position, resting your forehead on the back of your hands. Pause here looking for stillness, and then think of drawing the elbows in closer towards your body line. And this time, as you drop your forehead to the mat, sweep your hands back slightly further than you would in a cobra line so that your palms are towards the bottom edge of your mat. We're coming up into a swan articulation. Keep your legs soft and relaxed on the mat and start peeling gently up off the mat. Pretend you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start rolling the marble away from you to the front of the mat. Starting to uncurl your head. Then peel up and stop with your bottom 3 ribs heavy into the mat. Pause here looking for length through the spine and try to lengthen through the elbow points. Then peel up a little bit higher so that just the bottom rib is still connected. If this feels good, peel up a little bit higher so just the belly button is still connected. Higher still, the 2 hip points connected. Then your pubic bone. Higher still, maybe just the tops of your thighs still touching. And then lift the tops of your thighs off the mat so that you're resting the weight on your knees and your palms. Don't collapse, so push away and try to forge the longest swan-like spine that you can manage. Then come down with the same amount of control, bending softly through the elbows to just first connect the top of your thighs. Then your pubic bone. Your 2 hip bones, your belly button, the bottom rib, the bottom 3 ribs. The rest of your rib cage follows as you peel back down to the mat. Open up the arms into a soft T, roll onto your left cheek, and just dissolve your whole body into the mat, taking a couple of gentle breaths here. And then when you're ready to end off your practice for today, you're either going to just roll onto your back and come into Shavasana, or you can find your way into legs up the wall by bringing your bum against the wall and extending the legs up towards the sky. So dealer's choice. Find an end position that works for you. If you're coming into corpse pose, just lying comfortably on your back. Arms at your sides, palms looking up to the ceiling. Legs form a soft V frame with your inner thighs rotated out and your big toes looking towards the sky. Close your eyes, take your focus inward, and just begin to soften your whole body, starting at the toes. Allow that softness to bleed through the feet, through the ankles, through the shin, the calf line, the knee line, the tops and the back of your thighs, soft through the bum, soft through the hips, the pelvis, and the lower belly, soft through the chest, soft through the lower back, mid back, upper back. Relax those shoulders into the mat. Allow that softness to bleed down from the shoulders towards the elbows, towards the wrists, towards the tip of each finger. Think soft through the neck, soft through the jaw, soft through the whole face. Start to give me soft, lazy, relaxed inhalations and exhalations. With each exhale, just drop and release any resident tension into the mat so that it literally feels like you just melting and dissolving into your mat. Think of batter that you drop into the pan to make a pancake, and as that batter drops into the pan, it spreads out, relaxes into that lazy pancake shape. Keep your breathing long, soft and relaxed, the whole body beautifully pliant and relaxed. And then stay here for as long as you need to, ending off your practice by maybe nodding your chin to your chest on the words Namaste. When you're ready to come out of Shavasana, you can bend the knees, maybe gently roll onto your side, maybe finding your way into a soft fetal pose and hanging here for a few gentle breaths before you decide to come upright with the body. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Remember to shoot me your comments. Make sure your notifications for this channel are always on, and be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.